talk a little bit about New Orleans. Can we get the New Orleans background up a little bit? Because I just got a quick... we actually went to New Orleans 2 weeks ago. I can't even remember now. I've been on so many planes. I said that to my chiropractor this morning. I said, we've been on so many planes. Right now, you can see we've got some of the people from New Orleans there. People dressed up, which was awesome. And you can tell we did a Roman theme. It was the Roman world we had. So Roman world was basically, I'm trying to get out of the way so you can see the thing here. Can you see it? It's Roman world was in the series Westworld. There are different worlds where man can satisfy whatever pleasure he wants, whether it's killing, whether it's sex, whatever it is, and they create different worlds. We created the same type of worlds in the locations that we went to. This one was about Rome, the Roman times. It was a Roman world that we had, and so most people came in different costumes. It was awesome to see. We put it together. It actually worked very well, and we had one small incident. It's interesting. When events come on that people don't realize when you're in a public setting that if you're swinging a sword, you can't really come that close to it, and people tend to wander in and out. And even though there are signs, or you ask people not to wander in and out, they still tend to do it. So it's one of the things we're always challenged with when we do events. It will be the same thing when we deal with our English events, where we'll be on some public property. But it's how can I put it? It's a challenge for us to do that. If you have any questions about the those events, we will or being out in the middle of the public, or if you've got any ideas of how to stop it, because even cones sometimes stop people. I mean, when we did our event last year in last year? Yes, it was last year in Maryland. Not the retreat, but the Baltimore event in the park. We had to tape the entire area all the way around the park so people wouldn't walk past it. But they still came in and started pushing. So it's interesting. And the other thing I also noticed when people are on airplanes, I talk about this a lot on my vlog about travel and tips and things I see that people do. But when you're getting off a plane, the protocol most of the time is, your row comes out, the next row comes out, the next row comes out, and everybody files out normally. But some people don't want to wait. They just go right past you, or they push past you. And I watched a mother do the same thing. She was actually with her daughter, and there was myself and the lady next to me and a guy. And the guy kind of got out, and the woman then pushed her daughter in front of this lady in front of me and the lady on the other side to get in front of us to get off the plane. Well, wait a minute. What's the difference? I mean, you're only going to be there for another 3 minutes, not even that, 30 seconds before to let these people go. And so it's I kind of find that now you're showing your daughter or your son to be rude. And I find that seems to be creeping in a lot of places now. And people, and either that or people just don't realize that. Somebody asked, will there be a Chicago date? Well, we just had one. I just came back from Chicago. That was great. We had a great time in Chicago. That was kind of fun. I tried something different, and I think it worked really well. Instead of doing a sword fight that had 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 moves, those moves were still there, but we broke them up into smaller pieces to do, and it was much. The fight looked awesome. It was so well performed. I'm really interested to see how the final video is going to come out. To show you guys in this Eastworld series. I want to talk a little bit about Pittsburgh. Can we bring the Pittsburgh up? Pittsburgh, as you can see, Pittsburgh. In a second, we're going to bring that up. We had a number of people in Pittsburgh. It was a beautiful venue. I say beautiful. It looked awesome. It was this massive old steel mill, and to get around it was difficult. And we tried again something different in that one. We tried multiplying the people, and I think it's going to look like we had about 100 people there. I couldn't train 100 people at once. It would take me. I would have to have at least 6 trainers to do that. But it was good, and so I want to thank you guys for coming. It was a hot day. in Pittsburgh. It was one of those days where it was kind of overcast, but then it got humid and it got hot, and we had little shade. So those of you that did it there, you were walking from one side to the next. But I'm pretty sure we're kind of interested to hear if any of you went to Pittsburgh, what your feelings were. We try to do a lot of our summer events because January, February, a lot of the time the outdoor events are impossible to do, and the indoor locations are cost prohibitive. I mean, if we have to pay $3,000 for a location, it's really not worth the event. We would have to have a lot more members to do that. So that's your job, guys, to increase the membership for me. I'm going to ask a couple of other questions. Somebody asked, and if you have those, I've got somebody else here. April is going to be doing it. If you can put the names of the person that actually asked the questions, that would be great. But this one was, why wasn't Charlie DeSalvo leveraged more as a resource for Duncan? I mean, it's really interesting, and this happens a lot. When an actor comes in and does a role, he can be okay in the role, service that particular relationship, but the best episode is the one that they die in or the one that they leave. I have no idea why, and I think the one he died in, he was probably the best I saw Charlie DeSalvo to be. Not to say he wasn't good in the other ones, but it's like I'm going to go out with a swan song here, and it was an interesting episode to see that one. But why wasn't he leveraged? Because he was human. How it was hard. You already have Tessa. I think I need some water. And we already had Tessa to be the human viewpoint, and then there was Jim Burns' viewpoint. So Charlie DeSalvo was the martial artist. Was he his buddy? I don't think McLeod. I don't know. McLeod's not the guy that kind of sat there with buddy type of thing. He was the guy that was a loner. I mean, you can see that most of the time. He was a loner there. So that was really. I don't know how you would have used Charlie DeSalvo anymore. And people have asked me, who was the most interesting character that you worked with, or which character was your favourite. I mean, I had various favourites. There were a variety of them, to be honest. Obviously, Tessa was a great one, even though she was only in, I think it was 14 episodes. No, sorry, what am I talking about? 22 episodes, or 23, 24 episodes. And obviously, Stan Kirsch, Richie was a great character to have, and that's a mentor character. The father figure was played by Joe Dawson. The old wise man was played at first by Darius and then by Mythos, and those are key characters, and they were fun to play with. So it was different. But somebody actually has also talked about some of the action pieces. Now, I do talk a lot about action, and I'm about to do a new Film Fight Insight, which will be coming out, and it's going to be on the 47 Ronin. That's a great movie, actually, that. So, but somebody said the most brutal fight scene in Highlander was 6.5 minutes between Cullen and McLeod. Was it difficult to film and act? Well, any fight scene is difficult. Doing it continuously is obviously difficult, but it's obviously broken up when we do those things. The hardest time we ever had with action, shooting an action scene is relatively simple, I want to say. It's taxing, but it's the delivery of it that is important. So by that I mean it's like, okay, I can put a bunch of sword work and do this together, but it's not just that. It's all the other layers you actually have to put on top of an action sequence. The relationships that go on between them, the which camera angle